What up, y'all? We back. Real Ninja Reviews. We got a guest tonight.
Right.
This man is a digital artist, illustrator, character designer, writer. Man, look, he did Axe Cop, Freaks, X-Men, Guardians of the Galaxy, man. Last but not least, Trill League. Anthony Piper, y'all.
I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you. You got to add in Ghost Rider in there, man. You got to add in Spider-Man. What else have I worked on? Oh,
Iron Man.
Yeah, Riri. You know, so yeah, man. It's a list of projects, but yeah, I appreciate y'all having me.
I'm gonna post all of that up, all of that, everything that y'all named on the video on YouTube. We gonna see the covers all.
Man.
So y'all
and first, I gotta let y'all know how I discovered Anthony Piper. I was on my IG days. I stumbled on it's another black comic, Teflon Funk. I discovered them. I seen them. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Da, 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 da. But I couldn't find no kind of like, I thought it was a comic. I thought it was an album. I'm like, hold on, is this? But then like, and then there's like people you may know popped up. And I seen this little dude with a high top and looked like Robin. I said, oh shit, what's this? Clicked on it. Trill League. And ever since art style, everything. And I found out who it was, and there was a brother. Rest is history. So, got y'all Anthony Piper here, man, because your boy's a fan.
Right, pleasure, man, pleasure to have you here, man. I'm gonna double down on what Sean is saying, because I ran into your stuff on Instagram years ago when you was doing the Trill League. And just the characters and how you know what I'm saying, how bold they were, how real they were. Just everything that bled through all of your illustrations, you know what I'm saying, and the backdrops of all the stories and the details. When you start doing the bios of the characters, when the Trill League stuff was getting together on the Kickstarter and stuff, when it was so dope. Like it was so dope. It was so refreshing. It felt like you feel like a space where I hope I'm not being rude saying this, where something like Boondocks was, because it was nothing that was as, I mean, I don't want to be rude to nobody else. I want to say high quality, but look at it, the quality and then the representation. You know what I'm saying? That didn't have it still don't exist too much even right now. So running into your stuff after that big void that Boondocks left. Oh man, I'm still hyped, dog. Like I seriously, I feel like giddy. You like the first guest we had over here where I feel like literally giddy about the stuff, because I'm excited to hear what you got to say about your stuff, man. So pleasure to have you.
I appreciate, bro. Yo, you taking me down memory lane, man. Like, yo, when I created that project back in 2014, man, I got fond memories of creating that. And a lot of people, they was comparing it to the Boondocks, because I think it actually came out. I think it might have been the same year that
when it ended.
Yeah. I think when that lackluster season came out, I think I created it around the same time, man. And so a lot of people was making that comparison. They was kind of like, yo, this is kind of like the Boondocks meets Justice League and stuff like that, man. So I don't shy away from the comparison at all.
Because I was telling you before we started this, like the representation is everything. Like usually when you see black characters in any kind of media, they either be black and their lips be pink as shit, and like it's a separate connection from their face, and like your drawings is like it draw. Black people got voluptuous lips, bro. But no, like you know what I'm saying, volume to our lips, like, and you and the way you drew it, it just was like, yeah, I do. And then like the way you drew Mick, like what's the mixed girl name with the pink ring? That was fighting. Was it the one that Sparrow was driving in the car with Livewire. That was that. Yeah, that's the Beyonce. See, like you like how you drew it, like you portrayed a mixed character, a light skinned character, and we knew from how you drew it without that girl white, or you know what I'm saying, like. Like we can
The funny thing is, I got a homie that says that I got a problem because he says I even draw my white women like black women. You know, in terms of like they lips, you know what I'm saying, body type and shit like that. So,
they'd be happy for that.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yo, that's like the trend now, right?
Right, that's what they trying to do anyway.
So yeah, man. Nah, bro, you know, like I grew up on the south side of Chicago, man, and so you know that's one of the most segregated cities, you know, in the country. And so with that being said, you know, all I seen was us, you know, growing up. Yeah. So and I was taking all that in, man, and you know, like I always just wanted to reflect, you know what I'm saying, everything about us into the world of fantasy, man, whether it was comics or animation, you know, in terms of how we looked, in terms of how we talk, you know, our humor, you know what I'm saying, the things it is that's important to us and shit like that. So I just, you know, that's just what naturally came to me. Like I wasn't intending to, you know what I'm saying, try to like make a separate lane for myself. You know, that's just what it is that I knew, you know, and, you know, to, you know, inserting us into, you know, certain situations naturally, you know, adds a little bit of humor to the shit, you know what I'm saying? You know, we just happen to be, you know, like some of the funniest motherfuckers out there. You know, we make light of everything, you know?
We wouldn't survive without that. We wouldn't even be here without that sense of humor.
Exactly, man. So, you know, it was just something to just kind of came out organically. You know, I wasn't even trying to create like, you know, this franchise, this IP, anything like that. I was just having fun with the shit, you know, and back when I created it, man, you know, my first character that I drew was Sparrow. At the time, people was calling him Trill Robin. And then the second character I created was Soul. And I had just, you know, drew Green Lantern, you know what I'm saying, creating, you know, doing the activator things, you know, to the Jerry curl, you know, creating like a big ass, you know, pimp hand and shit like that. And then it was like from there, at that point, the second character, after that had went like crazy viral. Like, I was like, okay, I was like, you got something. So I just started, you know, creating these characters, man, and adding voices to them. And then just my natural, you know, storytelling just kind of came out, my humor and shit like that. Cause I always been a goofy kid. You know, I used to always tell jokes and do stupid shit, you know, growing up. So I just took those sensibilities and added it to, you know, the superhero shit that it is that I've known. And just created this product.
So let me,
man, I
got a question for you. Now, seeing as you work for the likes of Marvel, and like in lieu of working for them, and you see how they do, like you see how they move and work and like that. Did you take those things, incorporate some of that into Trill League? As far as like, you know, the action scene, like the action shots.
Okay, so when I first created, so Trill League was like the first thing. Well, before I did Trill League, I was doing freelance work. My main thing that I was known for prior to doing comics and stuff like that, I was doing mixtape cover art and album art. And I had probably like 50, you know, mixtape covers up under my belt. You know, I did for like local artists, you know what I'm saying, people online that, you know, was, you know, hiring me. And, you know, that's how my name was kind of circulating. And I was doing some comic work, and that was my intention at first, was to get into comics and animation. But, you know, what I was being hired for online was the mixtape cover stuff. So, so then I accidentally created Trill League, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of like, you know, put a lot of energy into that. And then that's when the animation studios and the comic, you know, companies started approaching me for doing work. And so when I started working for Marvel, my first project that I worked on for them was they were doing a hip hop, you know,
variant covers.
Yeah. And so I forget which was my first one. My first one.
You did those?
Yeah, I did two of them. Which you know, they had I did the Naughty by Nature one, which was the Thunderbolts, and I did the Big Daddy Kane, the Iron Man one, which I didn't like. I didn't do that one. Oh, okay.
He talking about
I think that was
the Iron Man.
Big Daddy Kane. But yeah, I did two of them. I didn't really care for the ones that I did, man. I kind of felt like, you know, I just came into the game, so I kind of feel like they gave like the really dope concepts to like the heavy hitters. And then, you know, they kind of gave, you know, the lackluster ones, you know what I'm saying, to the newbie. So it's all good. I wasn't tripping on it. But after I did that project, my editor approached me and he was like, yo, you know, he's like, I think, you know, we should get you to start writing. So Method Man had wrote a story for Ghost Rider. but it didn't have any dialogue to it. So, he just had like a basic concept. So my editor was like, he was like, how do you feel about writing and illustrating this? So that was my first project with Marvel as far as illustrating and writing. And
I didn't know Method Man had something to do with that.
With the Ghost Rider thing, that was his concept.
So why? And he been trying to get into the MCU. He been trying to push to be Cable. It seemed like he would have some kind of plug with something, being that he, was involved with the comic on the comic side. He might
get some. I'm sure he got some connects. Being from New York and shit like that. As far as like being cast in the MCU, I'm not even sure. They might. As they start building the X-Men thing up.
Right.
But yeah, they work with a lot of hip hop stars and stuff like that, man. And but through that process, like it kind of started to change my style because I had to start using more inks and heavy blacks and stuff like that. So it did translate into that book. The first episode. So, like I took a lot of that stuff that I learned from working, from doing Marvel stuff, as far as like, like using heavy blacks, inks and stuff like that. And I kind of like mashed it up against my animation style because I was already working in the industry on a couple of animated projects. So I just kind of like, blended the two.
Okay. Now, seeing that, you want to go, you got your questions, dog, or you good?
No, I wanted to know. It's kind of off. It's not on the same beat as what y'all was just talking about artistically. Mine was more so. I wanted to know how you felt about something like The Boys in relation to something like you working on your original IP with Trill League. You know what I mean? Because it's as I look, whenever I compare. It's messed up, but your work in Trill League, I set as the base of any anti-hero or like alternative hero type of stories. I literally use Trill League as a baseline to where I compare all of those other types of stories to, because you say like just the flavor and stuff that you add is like you were saying, I didn't know you was from Chicago. I knew you was from the Midwest, and where I could tell by your voice. I hear your accent. I knew you was from the Midwest, but Chicago, and like your focus on like the shoes and like the accessories. And so that's what I'm saying. It's hard. And as I say, I compare your stuff to, to those other works. I compare it more favorably to your stuff because of just what it brings and the aesthetics and stuff that you focusing on and that you add to it is, I don't know, man. I wanted to know how you feel about some of the works that some of your stuff may be compared to.
I'm a fan of The Boys. I didn't really care for the second season as much, because I kind of felt it was getting it was trying to dwell too much into like like the political shit. You know what I'm saying? Which I that's like kind of like the current trend right now.
Yeah.
But as far as like being compared to The Boys, like yo man. Just taking, those character archetypes of, what DC established, what I'm saying, and kind of like, turn them on their head, man. I mean, everybody's done it, what I'm saying? Like, you had Tick, you got The Boys, even, Marvel has their own version with, what are they called again? I forget what Marvel's version is called.
Not the New Mutants.
No, it's not the New Mutants. It's, dang, man.
It's right there.
The name of it. But they have their own version, what I'm saying, of those DC characters. They got like the chick she has like spectrum powers, and she's supposed to be like the Green Lantern. I think Hyperion is like the Superman.
Yeah.
They got
I know what you're talking about now.
Okay, right. Yeah, so once you said Hyperion,
so they they got their own version of like DC characters, man. And everybody do their own little spin to it, So I mean, to take Black culture, take hip hop and all that stuff like that, and do it, nobody's done it before. So I kind of feel like I'm basically taking something that everybody knows and kind of flipping it on its head, which is what everybody kind of does now, and just adding your own little twist to it, man. So it's and I felt like I did it pretty well, what I'm saying, just adding all aspects, what I'm saying, from our humor, what I'm saying, to our music, our culture, our fashion, what I'm saying, the way we talk, all that stuff. I tried to make sure I inserted all of that in there, and just create like a really dope product, for us, our own version of our own superheroes, man, that that we felt like we could relate to.
Yeah,
because that's one of the things about Black superheroes. Like I kind of feel like, you know, like all representations of them, you know, they all feel like really regal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in terms of like Black Panther and Storm, you know what I'm saying? Even like Jon Stewart, like the way they talk, you know what I'm saying? It's like mad regal, which, you know, it's dope. You know what I'm saying? But to have like a character that talks, you know, authentically like how we talk, you know what I'm saying, and moves how we move, man, you know, you don't really see that. You know, and I don't even necessarily know if Marvel and DC will be willing to do that. You know, we'll see maybe with Static, you know, once they bring Static to, the real world, you know, they start doing the films and the movies, TV and all that stuff like that. You know, we'll see how they kind of, you know, pull him off. But yeah, man, I just kind of feel like a lot of these, you know, white companies kind of afraid to, you know, delve into that, you know, and rightfully so. I get it.
They sprinkle it. They sprinkle it in. That's what they do. Like they add the shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And they'll focus on the one pair of shoes. But that's the thing. Your characters, they all got dope kicks. And it's all different styles. It ain't just sneakers. You got the boots, and then you got the one, the women's fashion. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You got all of that. So it's like all of it. Big step. That's what. You saying you don't know if they'll dive into it. They just, like you said, they scared, so they gonna give a little.
Yeah, they sprinkle it in there, man. Just a tad bit. You know what I'm saying, to get our attention.
But once they see that, they for it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like,
for sure, man.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why they seen. No, it was they actually, you seen the numbers when they added more diversity into, you know, the MCU and how much more money they was making. I mean, you know, the movie, we all know the movie industry is all based on
Black Panther alone, man.
Right.
Yep.
Black
just that
Panther
alone changed everything. Too much money. Too much money it brought in. Like, so they had to listen, even though they still trying to ignore it. I want to see what they do with Static too. I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. I know they got big plans for him, and I mean, he is, I think he is a bankable character. It's just a question of how, you know, they're gonna approach it. I'm not sure if they're gonna go based on what it is that they did with the reboot, you know, or if, you know, they're gonna try to go a completely different direction. You know, I would have loved to have, you know, kind of had some input into Static. You know, they kind of approached me for it, but I think I was talking a little too big game. You know, I think they thought that I was too big for what it is I was talking about, so they kind of ignored it. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm not a big fan of what it is that they're doing with it in the book right now. But you know, that don't necessarily mean that that's what's going to translate to the screen.
That's true. It's going to be a whole different thing once it start going into the film realm, because it's going to depend on who's going to be associated with it, who they going to get, who they going to cast, because that's going to change everything. Who they cast as the main dude,
and
everything.
And the thing about it is, like,
going to change it all.
Versus, like, you know how Marvel movies, these characters they bring, like the black community don't be having a clue who it is. I feel like with Static it'd be a lot easier because a lot of these people that's are adults now grew up with Static, so they can finally have something to follow along with. And
but not to mention his origin too. You know what I'm saying? Is like mad street. When you think about all these other black characters, you know what I'm saying? Like Storm, she grew up in the slums in Africa. Black Panther, you know, is from the fictional Africa. You know what I'm saying? Bishop is from the future. You know, like when you really think about all these black characters that are kind of like, you know, like the top tier, you know, they don't really have the same kind of like relations that we have in terms of like growing up in Black in America. You know, and so Static has that. He has that ability to relate. You know what I'm saying? He's a street level character. So, you know, you can do a lot with him.
And
you know?
and like I was going when I was saying, like, it's like you said, it's relatable, and you would think because it's relatable, it'd be easier to make. And like sometimes certain movies we've seen, they just missed the whole point of the.
Yeah, unfortunately. Hopefully, I'm hoping that maybe a lot of the criticisms that's been going down with a lot of the movies, man. I think that, you know, we've seen so much of the same shit over and over again, man. You know, I'm still a fan. I'm always going to be a fan. I'm always going to go out and see the superhero flicks, man. But I just think we need a new flavor added to the shit. You know, Disney is a very formulaic company, man. So I don't really expect them to break that code anytime soon. But DC, man, they got carte blanche to do whatever, you know. And I feel like with a character like Static, if they wanted to build up the whole Milestone world, man, they can go in so many different areas with it, and of course, the foundation of, Milestone was built on, a lot of, the political shit that was going down, with the Black community, man. So it's like, don't try to shy away from it, man. Go deep into that shit, man.
But they kept it too real though. I think that's why it didn't. Remember, they was talking about AIDS. They was talking about the economy, drugs. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
don't shy away from that shit. Go into it, man. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be a whole different flavor, man. Don't shy away from the shit. I mean, it's a part of our community, bro. We
know it'll work because it's. I mean, it's real. Is really is. I keep saying it's relatable.
Exactly.
We'll see,
man.
We're gonna see how they do it.
Marvel, I know, would shy away from that shit, because even like with the whole, Tony Stark being an alcoholic, you know what I'm saying? They tried to skate over that shit, in the second one. So
I don't get all Marvel characters. They're all extremely flawed people.
Yeah,
like all of them are extremely flawed people, and they never depict that in the movies ever. Like even how we was just talking about Doctor Strange before we was recording and stuff, and they kind of show him as kind of like not being very much of a very, very good dude, but they not really going into the depths of kind of some of the stuff because they kind of glossed over what he did in that movie. I don't want to spoil it for people, what I'm saying, too much, but he was doing some kind of like the stuff he was doing was wow. And they kind of just acted like it was like, oh, la-di-da, it's all good. But it happened, but it didn't. It's weird, man. I hope DC, they got whole new ownership and leadership and stuff. I hope they put the right people in place so we can enjoy that. But another note, I think we could, I wanted to ask you, about where, currently, where is your IP? Where is Trill League? Like what's going on? I want, you can give the folks an update on what's going on and, what you're looking for, in the future, in the near future or whatever, if you will, please, sir.
Man, I mean, so I just did my Kickstarter for my second book, which, I'm working on currently, trying to finish that one up and start leaning into production of the third one, hopefully sometime by the end of this year. We had the animated series that was picked up by Quibi, but Quibi kind of they came and went within less than a year.
Right, I was looking forward to that. I didn't even know Quibi was gone.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they disappeared on us super fast, bro. Like, it was funny because it was just. As soon as we turned in the scripts, like we had turned in 10 scripts because, Quibi's whole thing was short formatted shit. So they told us we could do whatever, they was going to allot us 100 minutes of production. We could do whatever. We could, we wanted to do 101 minute episodes. And, I always intended Trill League to be a half-hour series. So we gave them 10-minute episodes, man. And they was telling us, they was like, they had different departments set up. So they had like a news department, they had like a comedy department, they had like their film department and stuff like that. And they were telling us that they actually, the shit was so funny. They let every department read that shit. And they were like, that shit was fucking hilarious, bro. Like, I got the scripts that we came up with, man. Like, I had one that was, I intended for it to go viral. Like I was talking mad shit about Beyonce's fan base. And shit like that, what I'm saying? Like I had the Bayhive set up kind of like it was a spy agency, kind of like John Wick and shit. You know what I'm saying? Where they fucking like scout out anybody who was talking shit about fucking Beyonce. And that Trill League had to go against them and shit like that. Man, like we had some crazy ass episodes, bro. And so they was like, they let everybody at, what I'm saying, that company read shit, and the shit was fucking hilarious. So we had turned in the scripts, we had finalized them, man, and we were just kind of waiting for, the go ahead, the green light from the CEO, man. It was like, they kind of had us, on pins and needles, man, just kind of waiting. So we got all the way to August. I think it was like August, September, and that was when they, made the announcement that the company was shutting down. So that kind of, that blew up. But the one thing it is that my producers and 50s people was telling me, he was like, yo, I think it worked out for the best. Because they weren't aware of what my vision was for the television series. You know, they knew I could write for comics, but they was like, yo, what is your vision as far as like, what's this for TV? Look like? And I showed it to them, man, and I think they were like, oh, okay. They was like, yo, this shit's gonna hit. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, all right, we can shop this to the big network. So over the course of the last year, you know, they teamed me up with a writer, a co-producer, which I'm not gonna give away yet, man, but it's a big writer, like big as shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's not necessarily like fully known, but she's like on the rise, and she's worked on a lot of like Emmy winning shows and stuff like that, man. So she's gonna be my co-producer. We actually just went out last week to pitch it to a couple of networks, and some of them came back the same day that we pitched and was like, yo, yeah, we want this. So yeah, man. So, you know, that's in the works right now, you know, again, the paperwork and kind of, you know, seeing, you know, who's going to be the highest bidder and stuff like that, man. So it's a lot of good shit.
Man, word. That's got to be the best feeling ever. What? You just sit there waiting on offers and seeing all the, you know, all your hard work and sacrifice.
It was crazy, bro, because like, yo, I was talking, so I'm gonna give a little backstory into like my shit. So my manager, he's a young brother, and during our first practice session, we had 50s team, we had Lionsgate team, right? And so they were telling me, they was, you know, I was going through the pitch, and you know, Black Man is, you know, as a controversial character, you know,
Black Man,
super controversial character, man. So I'll be like, I always ask my manager, because I'm going into these rooms with these white execs. I'm like, yo, man, I'm like, I'll be like, bro, can I say some of this shit? Yeah. And so during our second practice pitch, Lionsgate was like, all right, he was like, yo, you need to turn up the humor just a little bit more. And so my manager, he was like, look, he was like, don't be scared of these white people, dog. He was like, like, go all out. So I just started writing some of the most racist shit ever. Right? I was just writing the most racist shit. Like, I wrote out this whole motherfucking like routine, dog, just going mad race. And every pitch, yo, I had them lying. Like, it was one network, bro. I had them motherfuckers dying the racist shit that it is I was saying about white folks, bro.
You know they love it. Come on.
They love that shit, bro. They love that shit, dog. So yeah, man. That shit was crazy, man. So, you know, like, yo, I'm like, yeah, this shit's gonna be definitely, because I mean, he's actually, you know, he's like the opposite of Uncle Ruckus. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know, Uncle Ruckus all up white people's ass. This motherfucker do not like white people at all. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So I already know, you know,
Black Man.
But
we've been on since 2014. I'm telling you, we've been on since day one. I cannot wait for this.
Bro, yeah,
oh my God, I can't wait. I'm gonna support in any and every way that I can possibly support. Where the apparel at? You know what I'm saying? Where the figures at? Where the games at? You know what I'm saying? Where it's at? I want it all, man. We need it all.
Bro, I appreciate it, man. That's all part of the game plan, dog.
Let me ask you a question though. So, like you were saying, going about the pitches. Like, how do you personally, like, at pitch after pitch, like in the beginning, like it wasn't going how you wanted, and you know what I'm saying? Like, what did you do to keep going?
You know, I mean, the thing about Trill League, man, is like, yo, a lot of cats had, you know, when I first moved out to Cali, which I moved out here in 2015. I think 2015 is when I moved out to Cali. And my first pitch meeting was with BE. No. So my first pitch was with Adi Shankor. Is it Shankor? The cat who came up with the bootleg universe, with the bootleg Power Rangers. And he actually did Castlevania as well. And so one of his things is that, you know,
Powerhouse.
Yeah, Powerhouse Animation.
Yeah.
And he does so one of his, so I met with him, and this was like my first engagement, you know what I'm saying, with like Hollywood and, you know, kind of like getting the IP out, man. So I met with one of his people, you know, they took me out for lunch, man. We started talking, and you know, I thought he was gonna help me get on, but his whole thing was he wanted to buy the rights to Trill League. You know, and, you know, he was going to try to get it put on, man. And, you know, he was offering me $20K for it. But I kind of felt like, I didn't know anything really about it, but I was like, I know this IP is worth more than that. And I had a couple of other cats offer me like 25, 30K for it, But my first pitch meeting with like an exec of me actually pitching it myself came through Woody McClain. And
Kane.
Yeah.
So he was Bobby Brown.
So he went up to it was at the time that he was doing the New Edition movie. Yep. So he had a relation with BET. And so the cat Jesse Collins, who was producing Real Husbands of Hollywood, and he was also the producer of the BET Awards, had knew Rodney Barnes. Rodney Barnes, I think, was one of the writers, and Rodney Barnes worked on Boondocks. So he had, we met, and he was like, "Yo, I think this, let's pair y'all together, man. We're gonna take this out and sell it and stuff like that." So my first meeting, because they have a first look deal with BET, that was my first meeting, man, and that was crazy. Because Black Man, I had explained, because one of the jokes behind Black Man, one of the early jokes was you didn't secretly know if he was smashing Vanilla Latte. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, promoting all this fucking pro-black shit, but you know what I'm saying? He was secretly smashing a white girl. So when I had brought that joke up at BET, and BET is, mostly ran by, the execs are mostly black women, man. Like I had them laughing the whole time until that joke came up, and man, the whole fucking mood changed. And so I was my first. Exactly, bro. So I didn't know what the fuck to do because like the energy completely changed. So I'm looking at Jesse. I'm like, "Yo, bro, what do I do?" He was like, "You on your own, dog." So they declined it, which is what they wanted because their first look deal requires any ideas they had, they got to take it to BET. So we was gonna take it out, and they wanted me to sign a contract. And I was nervous about signing contracts because I didn't have no lawyer. I didn't know exactly what it was going to restrict me to doing, so I declined the contract. So from there, I had another homie. He hooked me up with a pitch meeting with Cartoon Network. That shit went south.
I remember that when you was posting.
Yeah, I didn't know how to pitch at the time, man. Like I was just rambling, dog. Like I was just like talking, like, and they was like visibly bored after a while, And so they declined the two because they said, they were owned by Warner Brothers. And they were like, "Yo, we don't want nothing making fun of our characters." But I don't even think that was really what the case was. I think it was more so the fact that I was coming in by myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just pitching an idea. I don't have no team behind me. They don't know if I can write for television. Yeah. I just think that was just kind of their way of saying, we'll find an excuse. So anyway, through that whole process, man, I learned about pitching and shit like that. And then, once I got my management, we pitched to Quibi. They picked it up. And then as far as this last round of pitching, man, me and my co-writer, we had been working since November, like getting our process down, kind of learning each other and stuff like that, doing our little tag team thing. And so through that process, like I learned how to like really pitch, because this was really my first time doing like a blitz pitch where you have a concept and you take it out to every network that's interested. So, we was doing, it was me, her, our management team, our agents, 50, and the networks, and we just all in a meeting, just going back, boom, boom, doing a whole routine. So you kind of learn, kind of how, the pitch process, what type of questions they ask, what they looking for, all that stuff, man.
Okay. What's it like working with 50? I know that's a whole bunch of folks want to know that one.
Man, so I haven't really had an opportunity to like really work with 50. Me and him, when we first sold it to Quibi, he had came to LA, man, and he was, he came in and talked to me and my co-writer, man. That was my first time, conversing with him. And he was pretty cool, man. Like, he'll just go on and on and on because the man got so many damn stories. Yeah. He got so many experiences, man. Like that motherfucker, it just wasn't even like coherent, dog. Like it was just, it wasn't no through line. You know what I'm saying? Like he was just all over the fucking place. You know what I'm saying? With his stories. I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right, bro. Like, I get it. But I imagine we're gonna have a lot of fun, man, because he talks shit. I can talk shit. You know what I'm saying? He told us, he was like, whatever it is y'all need, I can get access to it, you know what I'm saying, as far as like our casting and stuff like that, because we want to take, some celebrities, and stars and turn them into villains in this universe as well, man. So he was like, yo, whoever it is y'all need that I got access to, we're going to try to get them on board for this project. So
wait. I ain't about to let you just gloss over that one. Wait, so you saying that it's a possibility that you will have, people from the Power universe or the Stars drama universe involved, in Trill League?
I mean, they may, but I'm talking about like, yo, we want to turn like real rap stars, and like villains and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this question.
That's about to
do you get a chance to be Chris Brown on there?
He might, man.
Because he
might. He might turn into Sparrow's rival.
Dude, that's what caught me with the Sparrow and the Drake stuff, man. Not Sparrow, the Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? That stuff, man. That'd be funny, man.
Actually, I didn't even think about that. Actually, that would be funny because, when we first met 50, he was talking about how he was like, all the motherfuckers who beat niggas' asses, he's like, it's all R&B cats. And he was like, he was like Jeremiah, fucking Chris Brown, and Trey Songz. He was so hey, it could be a thing, man. We want to bring stars and stuff like that into it. We're gonna have like different villains, based around concepts and stuff like that. One of the concepts that I got, I don't even want to say that one because that one gonna be hilarious and shit. But I had like Kanye as Thanos, and that was one of the episodes that I wrote. Like, so he had like the Infinity Gauntlet, and like I had the all the Infinity Gems called the Kardashian crystals. So basically, each of the Kardashians had like their own little crystal that could warp reality and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they reality stars. Right. And so he had to collect the Kardashian crystals from each of the Kardashians and Jenners, you know what I'm saying, to complete the gauntlet and fucking change reality and shit like that. So it's just like concepts like that, that we want to fucking do, man.
They had their baby daddies involved and stuff too.
You said we had what?
I said, was they baby daddies involved in it?
I couldn't put the baby daddies in that episode, man, because it was only 10 minutes. But half hour though, yeah, you might have to fight them off.
The Rob Kardashian Stone be the weakest one.
I ain't got no stone.
Hey,
don't even exist. What you mean?
Hey, man, we got plenty of concepts, man. I had I don't even know. I can get this one away, man. My Beyonce episode. So that episode is gonna be crazy because I was gonna be talking mad shit about Beyonce and the Bayhive. Just
ruffle some feathers.
That's gonna fire them up too.
Get them talking. So I had this character and she was gonna be like a spy who was like trying to help Wandisha get away at the time. And she was gonna have like the shades and the the trench coat and shit like that. And so she's like she like pulled Wandisha to like, this like fucking bunker and she like talking to her. And she's like, yo, you need to get the fuck up out of here. She's like, the Bayhive gonna fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? She's like, yo, they not gonna stop until you dead. And so she like give her like, she give her like she give her a boat ticket. She give her like, new papers and shit like that. And she like, yo, y'all, you need to get the fuck up out of here. So Wandisha on the way out, she's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And her name is Widowmaker in the fucking in the thing. But then she tell her, she's like, you may have known. She was like, I used to be like you. She's like, my name at once upon a time used to be Carrie Hilson. And so Wandisha was like, she's like, who? And so Carrie like, get the fuck up out of here. And so it was just like little shit like that, man. I wanted to insert into the shit. Just talking shit about everybody.
Oh yeah. You could go, man, you could that's what make it so cold because you can go in so many different directions and all of it's gonna hit. All of it's gonna hit them different fan bases and the different people who support the folks or the people who don't like the folks too much or whatever. Oh man, did you do a Sierra Russell Wilson like couple Bonnie? I want to say Bonnie and Clyde, but like a couple's dynamic situation.
I wanted to so I gotta work on it, but I had a concept like I wanted to mix in like Future and have one of his kids be like Cable, so like he sent his babies like that, and one of the kids come back, you know what I'm saying? I'm just Sierra's like fucking guidance to try to fucking kill, you know what I'm saying, Future and shit like that. I got to work on that concept, man. So yo, man.
Dude.
Yes, I love it, man.
Yo, bro, it's yo, dog.
It's never ending, man.
Bro,
you
it's
can go.
It's gonna be crazy, man. This series
Man,
is gonna be.
You can do all the nonsense because it's telling you, man. You feel it a void for real, but it's so nobody's touching on this. You know what I'm saying? The industry in this fashion, these niggas are hilarious. Like, so I will get all the nonsense that's going on. Oh my god, it's too many people.
It's unlimited, man.
For it all, man. It's too much, man. It's too much. But yeah,
man, all I can say, like, dude, I'm still tripping on that. That's funny.
I like the Kanye Thanos.
It's a lot of concepts, dog. That me and my co-writer, man, we already know that the writers' room is gonna be, it's gonna be insane, man. Just trying to figure out all the concepts of this, because it's not all gonna be, celebrities and shit like that, man. We got concepts that we want to do. So like
you got themes that you want to hit on, and
we definitely got topics. Like I got that character race card, man. As far as talking about, being, well, not he's not mixed, but what I'm saying, talking about the expectations of what it means to be black versus what it means to be white and stuff like that. So man, I definitely want to talk on a lot of social and racial topics.
Man, you got any Karen? I want to be in this right. I can give you 25 random ideas of different stuff that can be hit on and taken.
Hey, bro, like, yo, man, I already know. First season, I know she's gonna have some of her picks that she wants to bring into the writers' room. But that's one of my things that I'm nervous about. I ain't gonna say I'm even nervous about it because I know we'll be able to do it. But the thing is what I really want is people who understand black culture and also understand this comic book shit. And that's the biggest thing. Like I'm kind of nervous about because I think people can tell jokes. It's people who can tell jokes and it's people who know the comic book shit. But necessarily, can you do both? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, I'm looking for those comedy writers who know.
That, so basically, the blending of the worlds.
Yeah, no, they got to be able to know both.
Exactly, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to connect those, connect the two ideas.
Because we gonna know. Because the people who know both, we gonna judge it. I'm gonna be like,
exactly.
He don't know comics. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Or they'd be like, oh, this ain't funny, and he don't know the culture. He don't understand.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Or it's tone deaf. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. Because it's like what you're doing is you adding an element. I mean, it's still educational. Like these is all jokes and it's all funny, but you still teaching folks. It's people who gonna see, you know what I'm saying, your depictions of these characters and their different story arcs and stuff, and they're gonna learn some stuff and they're gonna be exposed to things that they never even thought about, but it's gonna be funny. It's just gonna be real too, though. So
man. And my co-writer, she her father was a Black Panther too, So man, man. So she was, when she saw the project, man, she was hyped about it,
man.
So we definitely gonna be doing some educating.
Oh, you got some Chicago. I got to meet Fred Hampton.
Now, question: is it gonna be like when like the type that this episode, like an episode come on, will it connect to the next, or is just like satire? Or
it is. I mean, we going Big Banks is definitely going in the series, and that's gonna be That's gonna be the follow through. I don't want to say too much on that part, but it's definitely gonna be a hybrid. But everything it is in terms of like what I presented in the comics, man, I'm trying to find a way to bring it into the television series. We had to do some restructuring of some of this, so some of it is going to change. Like Tam is not going to be in the series. He might make an appearance maybe later, but probably not the first season. He's not part of the core team. The other ancillaries, Peaches, Q, Soul, all that stuff like that. I want to find a way to bring them into the series, but the main four are Black Mane, Swole, Wandisha, whose name I changed, but I'm not going to say what they changed to. And Sparrow, and then Swole and Wandisha aren't in a relationship just because of the dynamics. You know what I'm saying? In terms of how we want the characters to riff off each other. I figured it was best for them not to be in a relationship. Yep. So it's kind of like, we rebooting it, what essentially about the characters is going to stay the same, but we had to restructure it, to fit within, something that works for an animated sitcom.
That was interesting that you said that they're not in a relationship. They don't have that romantic involvement, but them being platonic, you know what I'm saying? Having a platonic relationship, that's going to open up all kind of stuff because, right, they're going to be able to have love interest outside of each other. And they're very physically attractive, supposed to be physically attractive characters. So, it's going to be all kind of dynamics, all kind of dynamics that you can play off of that. Yeah, that's
exactly. That's the main thing too, because my whole thing is that I want them to kind of play off each other like Martin and Pam. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, especially them being like the two most powerful members of the team, because Sparrow and Black Man human, but they technically they Superman and Wonder Woman. So it's like they're gonna be talking shit about each other the entire time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So what we built in terms of like what we wrote for Quibi, man, we're gonna expand on that, for the half-hour series. But yeah, in terms of like that, their dynamic, man, it's gonna be a lot more interesting because they aren't real.
Man, that's dope, man. Because like the fact that with the Pam, so what it is when you said Martin and Pam, so I feel like that opens the door for hella jokes. On a pay, like if you really think about it, and like so far with the humor that you laid the foundation for with Trill League, like it's gonna be some outlandish ass jokes.
It is, man. Yeah. They just gonna be riffing off each other the entire time, man. They kind of hate each other. I had some other character, traits that I added, to them too. That, I won't expand on them, but it's just gonna make it so much more that they kind of clash, because in terms of like how they're treated in the world, they're like celebrities in a sense, and she's really like the biggest celebrity of them all, so she kind of think, she the shit, she gonna be talking mad shit, to Swole all the fucking time. But there's another character trait that I don't want to expand on. Like she really gonna be talking shit to Swole, man. But yeah, man, like it's gonna be hilarious, bro. Like not only from the villains, but just the way the characters kind of riff off each other and shit. It's a lot, man. And like I say, we had a fun time writing that Quibi series. We had a lot of dope ideas, man. I think it just showed them the potential of what this series is, and we wasn't even scratching the surface, you know. All the concepts, man. Like my manager had just talked about because he's out in Atlanta right now, and so he was telling me how he saw 2 Chainz come into a restaurant, and so we on this 4-way conversation, texting each other. It's like me, my co-writer, 50's agent, and my manager / agent, and so he's like, "Yo, we just seen 2 Chainz." At the restaurant the other day, and I had just said I was watching the Suns Mavs game last Friday, and I was like, "Yo, I just seen 2 Chainz on the screen." He was like, "Yeah, that's what he's like." I just reminded that I seen him the other day, and so then fucking 50's agent coming, he texts us a screenshot of 2 Chainz, and it showed his name up under that he's his agent, and it was like, "Yo," he was like, "Yeah, man," he was like, "We should be able to get him." And 2 Chainz is one of my favorite rappers, and I had already had a character concept for him, so he was like, "Yeah, man," he was like, "We can get him. We can talk to him, if we want to, include him as a character." And I already had a character. I had a character. I had some sort of hybrid him and not Lobo. I had a concept for him, Mr. Lobo. I haven't fully fleshed it out yet, but the whole 2 Chainz concept, man. So yeah, man, it's gonna be dope, bro.
I'm excited already.
Right. You legit got me more hype, you know what I'm saying, for everything that's coming out. We say it's been building up, and we know you've been master crafting it, you and your team or whatever. So it's gonna be cooked up to perfection by the time it's released, or by the time everything is going and stuff. And that's I'm super hyped to see what y'all got up y'all sleeves. Just off of the little bit you shared,
man. Like, dude, I'm over here just like, shit. I'm over here just like looking, like trying to figure out what to say next. Like, I'm gonna ask more questions, but I know how it is. You can't say too much about it, but hey, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm most definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, it's definitely gonna be something never seen before, bro. Like, I'm hyped. You know, I'm hyped for where we going, man. You know, with the the next book, third book. You know what I'm saying, bringing this thing to life. You know, I'm actually pitching another series as well, another animated series. I would love for them to exist in the same universe, but I'm not sure how that's going to work out. We got to get the legal out, but yeah, man. I mean, it's a lot of exciting stuff taking place, bro. Yeah, I'm hyped, man. If all this stuff, pans out, bro, like it's gonna be. I think what we're gonna bring to life, man, is gonna be, of course, people gonna compare it to the Boondocks, but I think it's gonna be, something way better.
Now, is it with the working on the show and the comic? Has that been kind of real tedious for you?
So right now, man, it has been. Just because I'm clearing up a couple of other projects because I got a couple of homies that I promised, I would do some illustration work for their projects. So I'm like clearing out a slate of projects that I had kind of stacked up, been pitching the shows, and then working on the second book as well. So it has been kind of tedious, man. I'm trying to figure out, a better workflow. Like I got to bring in, some collaborators, probably try to find a colorist who can take over for me. Right now, I'm just finishing up the second book, but as far as like the third book and moving forward, because one of the things I do want to do is I probably want to do another book that's more in tension with the animated series. So, I'll probably produce another book as well while trying to finish up this whole storyline that I introduced in the first book. And just try to find some collaborators, man, to work with me so I can, streamline the process while I'm working on both. But yeah, it has been a little bit tedious, bro. It's been a little bit tedious, man. But that's really just because I'm clearing out a bunch of other projects that I've been kind of like just letting like keep going.
I was over here thinking about the whole time. I'm like, damn, he working on this and the book. I'm like, yeah. I was about to ask you, man, because the fact that I brought that up, there's a reason. Oh, with the workload, you say you working for stuff with friends, you cleaning up slates. When do you have downtime?
Barely, dog. Barely, man. Like, yo, dog, I told myself, bro, I was like, yo, I'm so glad. I can't wait till these series get sold, dog. Because I was like, yo, I ain't got to work as hard, man. I was like, I ain't going to. And then I thought about it. I was like, nah, that ain't going to happen. You're going to be working even more, man. More. So, yo, man. So I don't know when I'm going to have some downtime, bro. Like, it's kind of crazy, man. Once you kind of set some shit in motion, you kind of can't, you can't veer from the path, and my goal is I was going through my Facebook because Facebook, they'll send you that shit. Like, I don't know if y'all use Facebook anymore, but
still mess with stuff Facebook, man.
But sometimes they'll give you like the whole the memories and shit like that. You said this fucking 10 years ago, you said this 5 years ago, man. And one of the things that came up, and I was saying back when I was in my mom's basement, I was like, yo, I want to be a music producer and I want to start my own animation studio. I was like, it's going to take a lot of work to do that. And I wrote that back in 2010. And I had just looked at it and I was kind of like, damn, yo, I've been on this fucking journey for like 12 years, dog, trying to do both, because I used to make beats when I was in college. That was actually the reason I got kicked out of college was because I was fucking around with the beats and that was kind of taking my attention away from my studies. So, and I still wanted to do it in some way in capacity, but I had to sell my equipment because I was fucking broke as shit. So I sold my equipment, started doing the comic thing because I could draw, but I had to teach myself how to do all that shit, man. But I wanted to combine the two loves. And, I just been kind of trying to, build both of those, man. And it's just kind of crazy. Like, so many years later, it's like, oh, damn, you know what I'm saying? You about to be working with, TV and, all these musicians and shit like that. So yeah, man, it's just one of those things, man. It's like you kind of build it, you kind of can't stray from it. So I don't know when I'm gonna have no free time, bro. To be honest with you, man.
Sound like good problems, though, man. That's good. That's good problems. I mean, you working.
Yeah, man. I want to do something for Black animation, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I know a lot of cats working in this industry, a lot of artists, and I I just know so many artists, man, who, they want to get their visions out and stuff like that. And animation is just such an expensive, medium, man. It takes a lot, organization and stuff like that, man. So, one of my goals is, man, is to kind of, make sure this goes as smoothly as possible. And show how successful it can be. And so hopefully that'll start opening people's eyes, because, that's how Hollywood work, man. They see that one successful thing, they start trying to, bring more and more of that shit in. So so it's like, if we can make Black animation more successful, and show that, it's something not only just our community want to see, but, the entire world, is interested in, because, hip hop, is the number one music genre worldwide.
Yeah.
So, they love our culture, man. So it's like, let's pull that shit into, animation as well. And especially with it being a superhero shit being the number one, entertainment genre across the world. It's like, we gonna pull those eyes, man. So yeah, man. So that's part of my goal, is to kind of, just try to make this a really successful project, and then hopefully, allow other artists to kind of branch off and do their own things and kind of, bring prominence, and that's, to the art form.
So we want to do too. We want to promote that as the media. You know what I'm saying? It's our goal and our job to kind of share these types of things with everybody, so we can all support and make it happen. It won't get off the ground if we don't support it. We don't make it happen, and that means money. That means spending, buying. Niggas be trying to act like they don't hear that part. Everybody want to say I support something, man. Like, buy it, buy something.
But like, kudos to you though, man, for doing it for so long, man, and staying the course, man. Like, for real, because like, there's a lot of people who, like, you see them with a path with illustration, anything, like, nowadays they go so far and they don't stay the course. But hey, man, I tip my hat to you, because like, it's, from everything I see and from everything you tell, it's paying off, bro. Definitely.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, man, it's been a rough journey, man. I'm hoping one day I get the opportunity to really, divulge into the journey, man, as far as, everything it is that it took, man, because art is hard, dog. Art is not easy, man. It's a very it takes a lot of time to produce work, so it's just one of them things, man. Like, I've constantly wanted to kind of just like, all right, man, let me just go ahead and throw in the towel, dog. Let me do something else. But every time I had that thought, man, something else transpired. So, that was kind of the universe's way of telling me, all right, bro, keep going,
right.
Keep going.
That's what you meant to do.
Yeah.
That's what you meant to do.
So, and I think that's one of the things too that I want to, project on to, a lot of younger artists, man, is, push your passion out there. We live in an age now where, you can reach so many people. Beforehand, in our generation, these kids now, they don't know anything else outside of social media. But, when we was growing up, man, you didn't know any of this shit. You know what I'm saying? You didn't know how to access any of these things. You didn't know how to access, people that was doing the things it is that you wanted to do. When I was growing up watching Saturday morning cartoons, I didn't know how to, reach out to studios or what it is I needed to learn and stuff like that, man. You had no idea. No idea.
Artists
man.
And stuff, being able to follow the pages of the illustrators and the artists and the writers, and you can actually see what they doing. And,
or even the jobs. Like, my manager, he had told me when I first moved out here, he was like, have you ever thought about writing before? And I was like, what you mean writing? He was like writing for TV. And I was like, no, never even thought about that. He's like, I think you can, man. He's like, you could tell jokes. And I was like, I didn't even think about that shit. Like, growing up, I didn't even think of that as a job, bro. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think about television writing as a job. You know what I'm saying? And he had to introduce me to that. So it's like, think about that. If a kid is armed with that, knowing that that's something that they should probably start paying attention to, writing straight out of, high school, college, man, they could probably, pursue a job like that, as opposed to waiting to their 30s, you know what I'm saying, to kind of get, privy to that shit. So, so my thing is, like, once I get to that stage, man, I just want to project to, like, these young aspiring artists, man, like, just push your shit out there, man. And if you show the passion that you got behind anything, man, people
and that's where we come in too. Like, that's why I thought it was very important that people find out who Anthony Piper is as an artist, all that stuff. Yeah.
Before the world know, before everybody blow, because you gonna blow up and you gonna blow up even more than what you already have. And then everybody gonna be just filling in, with whatever they want, but you be able to get your messages and, you know what I'm saying, your visions and stuff out there. So
I appreciate it, bro.
Man, because
appreciate having you, man.
Dude, because I know I can sit here and talk your head off, bro, until like forever, bro. But I gotta say, man, it's been an honor and a pleasure, bro. Like another artist to another, you know what I'm saying? Like, thank you, bro. Thank you.
No, man, appreciate you, man. Anytime, you know what I'm saying, my people, reach out to me, you know what I'm saying, to chop it up about art, man. Never appreciate no hesitation, that,
Yeah. Anything else, Smitty? Got something to say, dog?
No, man, I'm hyped up for Trill League. For issue 2. I'm hyped up for issue 2 and the animation and the prospect and the difference between the two. We actually getting a real thing, something that's comparable to the Japanese mangas and animes. Like not to say we trying to exactly copy and necessarily in a bad way, but having our representation of our stuff and the quality of what we want with the aesthetic of what we want and the music of what we want, the setting of what we want, the images of what we want, all of that combined.
Yep.
I'm not an artist. I'm just a fan. Like y'all can draw and be super creative. I'm not that one, but I definitely appreciate y'all talents and what y'all doing for real. So, second what Sean saying, appreciate you being here. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Like I said, you got a fan in us for you know what I'm saying, forever. We're going to support whatever you do for real. So
I appreciate that, man. I definitely will be reaching out, you know what I'm saying, once the series, is we ready to do the promo tour, and start, doing all the promos and getting the show out there and all that stuff like that, man. I'll definitely be reaching back out. So
bad. That's what I'm talking about. So we can get some stuff out here to some folks. We just want to put our people on. We want to put our, we call our listeners, our watchers, citizens of the village hitting in the real. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So that's what we call them. So we want to put them on to as much dope shit as possible. That is why we created this. It was to put people on the dope shit. For real. And this is the dopest shit you can possibly get at this point. Honestly, I really can't even think of nothing that'd be cooler to have on our show for real because of what everything you represent. That's what we've been talking about for the last hour. Oh man. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you for your work. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for, you know what I'm saying, for sharing your gifts, you know what I'm saying, with us. So thank you for all of that.
Appreciate y'all, man.